All right, we have some breaking campaign news. Retired astronaut Mark Kelly just announced that he is running for John McCain's Senate seat in Arizona. Mark Kelly, of course, rose to the national spotlight after his wife, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, was shot in a mass shooting 8 years ago. Joining us now to talk about this, as well as the entire Democratic field, we have Joshua Green, national correspondent for Bloomberg Businessweek, and Jonathan Martin, national political correspondent for the New York Times. Great to have you guys with us. I'm going to invite John Berman to join me.
Thank you.
It's that much fun of a segment that John Berman wants in. You guys,
I'll just lean in.
All right. Mark Kelly has just put out a campaign ad about what his motivations are for wanting to serve in the Senate. So let's watch a moment of that.
Nearly lost your life serving your country.
Yes.
But what do you do when bad things happen?
Move ahead.
You got to move ahead.
Yes.
You got to move ahead and try to make a difference in the world.
You're ready?
Let's go.
We're going to go 100 miles?
100 run, no.
How far do you want to go?
5 miles.
You know, I learned a lot from being an astronaut. I learned a lot from being a pilot in the Navy. I learned a lot about solving problems from being an engineer. But what I learned from my wife is how you use policy to improve people's lives.
Hard to argue with that opening statement, Josh. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think this gives Democrats a marquee candidate in what is going to be one of the marquee Senate races in 2020. If Democrats are going to have a realistic path back to a majority in the Senate, they've got to win Republican-held seats like Arizona. So I think this is exciting news for Democrats. It shows that they're going to be able to mount a serious challenge to Martha McSally, who was appointed to fill out the remainder of John McCain's term. And I think we're going to be spending a lot of time covering the Arizona Senate race between now and 2020.
I think that's right. And I think it will also perhaps have an impact on the presidential race there. As you note, Arizona will be perhaps a key swing state. It's always been Democrats' dream to make it a swing state in a general election. And Jonathan Martin, we know Mark Kelly has been outspoken, and Gabby Giffords, too, outspoken on the issue of gun ownership and gun control. I do have to believe that'll become front and center as an issue in that state. And I do wonder what a statewide race in Arizona where gun control is a major factor, how that will play.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a great test of gun politics in Arizona, a state that historically has a sort of libertarian-leaning political vibe to it, the home of Barry Goldwater, of course. And so I think, Kelly will obviously not back down on that issue, and it'll be fascinating to see how aggressively McSally prosecutes it. I would just add, though, it's not a sure thing that Kelly will be the nominee of the Democratic Party. Look, I think that if you ask Chuck Schumer today, he would love the idea of Kelly being the nominee. But there's a congressman named Ruben Gallego from the Phoenix area, a Marine, Hispanic, been in the House now for a couple of terms, who would really like to run for that Senate seat, too. So you could have a real primary on the Democratic side. And John, you're right. It's not perhaps. I think that Arizona is going to be a crucial battleground state. I think Democrats are not going to make the mistake that Hillary made in 2016 and wait to go out there. I think that they're going to be out there early on in 20.
Go ahead, Josh. Did you have a point about the competition?
I agree with John. And if you look at what just happened in the fall election, Kyrsten Sinema, Democrat, winning a Senate seat there, I think that shows that Arizona is competitive for Democrats, not just on the presidential level now, but on the Senate level. And if you look at where the rising Democratic coalition lives, it's Sunbelt states like Arizona. So again, I think it's going to be a real focus both at the Senate and the presidential level going into 2020.